It's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas. Today, we're starting our 6th free mystery quilt along for Christmas. Have you made the previous 5? I've made all of them. I can't even believe that so much time has gone by and we already have 6. So let's get started on this one. This year, we're calling it Star of Wonder. For the next 5 weeks, we're going to be releasing free patterns for the Star of Wonder quilts. You'll want to come back to Fat Quarter Shop each week to get your piece. The one hint I can give you is this is going to be a medallion style quilt. If you also love to cross stitch, we're also offering a free Star of Wonder pattern series to stitch along with the quilt. Start by visiting Fat Quarter Shop to download your fabric requirements and block 1. The patterns are completely free. Our first block is called the Star of Wonder block. We do have quilt kits available, or you can pull fabric from your stash. All the fabric requirements are right here. I'm using the Once Upon a Christmas collection by Sweetfire Road for Moda fabrics for all the Christmas tones with my favorite color added in, which of course is pink. This quilt is Fat Quarter friendly, so if you're a member of any of the Fat Quarter Shop Fat Quarter clubs, you have plenty of fabrics. If not, I'm sure you have some in your stash. Get your supplies ready and let's make this star shine. For our background, you need 2 yards. You need 10 fat quarters, 5/8 yard of a binding, and 3 1/4 yards of a backing, and we have a really fun backing. So once you've downloaded the block 1, which is called Star of Wonder, there are 2 pages. And by looking at this, you can see we're going to be making half square triangles, corner squares, and a square and a square. Now, if you want to use fancy paper from It's So Emma, you can use the 2-inch triangle paper and the 4-inch square and a square paper. But today, I'm just going to show you the normal way. So the easiest way to do this is to cut all of your fabrics and label them with your alphabetes. So you've got A through D, your backgrounds, your 2 reds are your E and F, and your G is your green. So get everything cut, and then we're going to just pull from this board to start with all of the pieces. So we're going to start with making half square triangles. You're going to take 1 background square and 1 fabric E square. You're going to put those right sides together and line them up as close as you can. And then you're going to draw a line in the center. From there, you're going to draw a line on each side. To make it easy, I'm going to use the seam guide by Creative Grids and just draw on the outside lines because it's already got that built-in 1/4 inch. So basically you have this line in the center, 1/4 inch this way, a 1/4 inch this way, but this tool just does it for you automatically. Then you're going to stitch directly on those lines. We use red thread for demonstration purposes, but in my quilt I use Color 2000 by Aurifil, which is just a really nice cream. Then you're going to cut each of these apart, and then you're going to press them open. So you're just going to press to one side and then press open, and I'm going to show you how to cut that down. From here, you just put a Creative Grids 2.5 inch square ruler on top, and you can see you're going to have enough room to trim around all 4 sides. So I would cut 2 sides, cut the remaining 2 sides, and then you're going to make 8 of these and 8 of these. So you'll have a total of 16 half square triangles. So when you're done with both colorways of your fabric E, you're going to have 8 in one red and 8 in another red. Now we're going to make corner units. One's going to go on the top left and a matching one bottom right. And then your other fabric is going to be top right, bottom left. We'll start with the polka dot fabric. First, we're going to take our fabric Fs, and the easiest way to lay those out is to just lay those out first, then add your fabric D square. And then from here, we're just going to be filling in our half square triangles. And if you think about it, the lines are going to go this way. So you're going to have the whites touching and the whites touching here. And then you just double check to make sure it looks right. You're going to sew these with a 1/4 inch seam, press according to the pattern, which this unit we're pressing open. And then when you get done, this is what your unit is going to look like. You're going to make 2 of those. Then you're going to do the other fabric, and it looks exactly the same. So you can piece that the same way. Just know that you're going to turn that in your block. So it's pieced the same way. And you're going to have 2 of this fabric and 2 of this fabric. And just so you can see, this is how all of my seams are pressed. They're pressed open, and try to get all your points to match up. Now we're on page 2 and we're going to work on the star units. These are a little bit easier than the last one. I'm going to do steps 1 and step 2 at the same time, just so you can visually see. So you're going to take 2 fabric B rectangles, 2 fabric G squares, draw a line on the wrong side of each of the squares. Then from here, you're going to angle these down. So you're going to angle them this way. So you're going to have a left star point unit and a right star point unit. And what I like to do is I like to use seam-align glue. You can also use pins. Just put 3 little dots. Keep that in place. Let that dry. And then you're going to stitch directly on these lines. You're going to make 4 of each, and you're going to press according to the pattern. So once you stitch directly on the line, you're going to trim a 1/4 inch away and press. And this one you're going to press towards the white. You're going to make 4 of these. You're going to stitch on this line, trim a 1/4 inch away, and this time you're going to press toward the green. So here you can see one is pressed to the white and one is pressed to the green. So when you put these together like this, you're going to pin at this intersection and your seams are going to nest. You're going to stitch with a 1/4 inch seam and you're going to make your star point units. You're going to make 4 of these, and this is how it looks when it's pressed. So one is to the white, one is to the green, and then pressed open. You're going to make 4 of these. Now, of course, if you wanted to, you could press all of this open. Totally up to you. Our last unit is the star center, which goes right here, and you're only going to make one. So you're going to take your fabric A square, and on the wrong side of all of the remaining fabric G squares, you're going to draw a line from corner to corner on all of them. And what you're going to do is you're going to place the 2 opposing corners just like this. Now, if you didn't want to use the glue, what you could do is pin. And with something like this, I'm going to pin 3 times because I do not want this to shift. And you might think, oh, that's really excessive. My fabric's not going to shift. But I guarantee you will have really nice results with this. Stitch directly on that line, trim a 1/4 inch away, and that's going to look like this. And you're going to press these towards the green. Then you're going to take your remaining 2 squares, draw a line from corner to corner, and I'm using a friction pin. It goes away with heat. You can use any marking tool that you prefer. Then you're going to cover up these last 2 corners, pin and pin. You're going to stitch directly on that line, trim a 1/4 inch away, and press to the green. And this is how that unit is going to look. What you can do is put a 4.5 inch square ruler on top and make sure it really comes out 4.5. And if you have a little bit of extra fabric around it, you could trim that off. Now we have all our units done and we can assemble our block. Now we have all the units we've made. We have our 4 corner units, our 4 star point units, and our center unit. And now we're going to lay these out to make a beautiful block. And like I said, these 2 are going to oppose and these 2 are going to oppose, meaning 2 are going to go on opposite ends. And when you're doing this, you want this white square in the center. And then you're going to place these with the green on the outside and then your center square. So just make sure your 4 whites are in the inside. You've got squares on the outside and your snowflakes alternate with your snow. Then you're going to stitch with your 1/4 inch seam like you normally would. Pay close attention to your fabric placement. You're going to press that open. Then you're going to assemble this. Press that open. And once you sew it together, you're going to have this wonderful block. And you can see that we just did a lot of pinning so that everything would line up nice and neat. So if you guys are kind of looking around the set, you might be able to figure out what the next blocks are gonna look like. I'm just gonna give you that hint. But I do love this block, and it's the very center of our quilt. It measures 16 inches finished, and I can't wait for us to continue this free quilt along. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you come back each week for the free patterns, and join me every Friday on my weekly live streams. I love chatting with you guys, and I'll see you on week 2.